Alright, now let's start with the configure the system. If you click on it, here you can see that you can configure the Jenkins server or Jenkins system. So here is a home directory. So if you want for to specify any system message, this message will be displayed at the top of Jenkins main page if you want any specific message, alright, when someone logged in. Here are the number of executors, and actually the executors, which means that the threads that your Jenkins master or the Jenkins server will handle. So for example, you run 2 jobs, so each job need executor, so you have up to 2 executors available. So you run the 3rd job, but the 2 jobs are already running and they reserved the executors, so you don't have any executor left, so it will be in queuing or pending until one of the job complete, then you will run it again. Well, actually it depends on you how many executors you want. Here are the label if you want to add a specific label, and you can see the usage. Use this node as much as possible or only build jobs with label expression. So the labels and the usage, this is something we will handle in the node when we create our nodes and so on, actually, because this is a global configuration for the whole system, not for a specific node. Alright, as you can see, the number of executors and the label and the usage, they are specific for a specific node actually, but we will handle that in detail when we reach the node lecture. Don't worry about that. The quiet period, as you can see, quiet period is something we already saw. If you can see here, this is to trigger when added to the queue, but Jenkins will wait, as you can see, for the specified period and time before actually starting the job or the build. The SCM checkout retry count, here you can put how many retry available. Restrict project naming if you want the strategy, as you can see, pattern, don't name it for a specific pattern or what, or you can just the default strategy if you look at it. So this is the default, and allow user to choose any name they like. As you can see, anyone can name anything, but if you don't need anyone to name anything, you can put the pattern that, as you can see, force existing, or if it is already exists, or you can put the pattern, yeah, it is allowed to use number only, for example, or alphabetic and numbers, or without numbers, depends on you actually. Now the Jenkins location, actually we already saw that the Jenkins URL here you can put it, and the system admin email address, you can just put the email address here. Alright, so for the system administrator, if Jenkins got any error, it will be emailed to this email. Serve resource files from another domain. So here Jenkins serves many files that are potentially created by interested user, such as file project workspace, and as you can see, project workspace, or archived artifacts. When no resource root URL is defined, Jenkins will serve these files with the HTTP header content security policy as CSP by default. It is set to a value that disables many modern web features to prevent XSS and other attacks, which is the cross-site scripting. Alright, so you can put here the root URL for the resource. So as you can see, without resource root URL, resources will be served from the main domain with the content security policy, which is the CSP. Alright, now for the global configuration or global properties, you can disable deferred wipeouts on this node. Now this is something related to the node when time comes to create our nodes, so we will handle it there. Alright, here you can see that we can have environment variable. So you want, for example, you have a custom Django server, for example, or Django application, and you want to put the path for this Django application on a specific user on Unix. You can just put Django path, for example, or app path, or app underscore path, or whatever. Alright, and add whatever environment variable you want for the whole Jenkins system. But actually it is better to use that on a specific node, and this is something we will handle in a separate lecture, don't worry. The tool location, and here you can see that we can add whatever tool we want, the get, and this is something we saw on the global tool actually. So if you want to add another tool locations and so on. Pipeline speed or durability settings, here you can see that the durability or the speed, you can see that it is none, so use pipeline default, which is the max survivability, or performance optimized, less durability, a bit faster, maximum durability but slowest, so as you can see previously the only option. okay, which is the maximum durability but slowest. Alright, well, it depends on what your needs. Usage statistics, so you can see that help me make Jenkins better by sending anonymous usage statistic and crash reports to the Jenkins project. So actually this is as something statistics, so they can make Jenkins better. Folder health metric, child item with worst health, so controls whether items within subfolders will be considered as contributing to the health of this folder. And the folder here, which is the workspace actually. So you can see child item with worst health or health of the primary branch of the repository. Okay, so this is something for the folder if you create a folder in the creating job. All right, timestamp here, so you can see you can put the system clock format and elapsed time format and enable for all pipeline builds if you want. The fingerprints, disable fingerprints cleanup if you want. The administrative monitors configuration, so you can click on here, you can see that you can have all the monitors you want, like the disable agent master, deprecated plugin monitor, access control for builds, and so on. So as you can see, administrative monitors are warning shown to Jenkins administrators about the state of the Jenkins instance and so on. All right, leave it as is for now. Global build discarders, here you can see that the build discards configured for a job are only run after build finish. So after you finish the job, you want to discard your old project, and this is something we already handled actually. So this is the discarder you want. So if you can put a specific build discarder as well. Now actually this is to enhance your security, so no one can discard the old builds and so on. Here the lookable resources manager, as you can see, you can add a lookable resource, and as you can see, but we will not handle it here. GitHub, here if you want to add the GitHub server, and you can see that the advanced, shared secret, additional actions if you want something, and here you can see that there are a lot of information, and the GitHub API as well for the GitHub enterprise servers also if you want to add an enterprise server, like you can see the API endpoint and the name. Global pipeline libraries, so you can add libraries here like these, the Virgin, the Modern, the CM, and so on. Actually, we'll not talk about it here. Build timeout plugin, build step action, so enable build step action, and actually let's read about it here. So this feature is provided as is and not supported even it doesn't work correctly with some build steps. Okay, so list the performed step in timeout action. You can see that the build timeout plugin or build step actions. Well, actually I will not talk about this actually here. Now for the Git plugin here, you can see that we can add more information like the user data, the username, the user email, actually a lot of information as you can see. For the shell, you can see we can put the shell, the path for the shell, so Z shell, bash shell, the default one, C shell or whatever. Extended email notification, so here the SMTP server, the SMTP port. So actually this is used when you put your email to get notified, so you need to provide SMTP server afterward, right? Yes, because you will send emails. Jenkins itself will not send you emails. Jenkins will configure this SMTP server that will send you the emails, right? So here you can provide the SMTP information, server, port, the suffix if you want, list ID, reply to list, and allow domains, and actually a lot of information here depends on your usage. All right, so here you can see that this is something we already saw, but again they show us again the email notification as SMTP server here and the default username suffix, and you can test the configuration by sending a test email. As you can see here, you can put the email and test the configuration to check if it is working or not. All right, so far so good. Now we have a quick view actually on the configuration for Jenkins, and you saw that it has a lot of powerful usage, and actually there are a lot of things that cannot be handled in one lecture actually, but I tried my best as much as I can to give you all the things that important for you. All right, okay, I will see you in the next lecture.